Join me as I challenge myself to practice patience for an entire week and see how trusting in God's timing changes my perspective on life. Trusting in God's timing is something that can be really hard to do, especially when we're in the midst of difficult circumstances and we're desperate for a breakthrough. We can get so caught up in wanting things to happen right now, on our timeline, that we forget that God has a plan and a purpose for our lives that's far greater than anything we could ever imagine. Impatience can be a major obstacle in our spiritual journey. When we're waiting for answers or outcomes, it's easy to get frustrated and feel like God is taking too long. We start to wonder if He's even hearing our prayers, or if He cares about what we're going through. We might even try to take control of the situation ourselves, thinking that we know better than God. But the truth is, impatience is a lack of trust. It's a sign that we're not fully surrendering to God's plan and that we're not trusting in His goodness. When we're impatient, we're essentially saying to God, "I don't trust that you have my best interests at heart. I know better than you." Impatience can lead to anxiety, stress, and even depression. It can make us feel like we're stuck in a rut and that God is distant. But the opposite is true. When we trust in God's timing, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of peace and freedom. We're able to surrender our fears and worries to Him, knowing that He's got everything under control. In the Bible, we see so many examples of individuals who demonstrated patience and trust in God's timing. Take Abraham, for example. He was promised a son, but he had to wait 25 years for that promise to be fulfilled. Or take Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers, but ended up becoming a leader in Egypt. These individuals didn't give up, even when things seemed impossible. They trusted in God's plan, and their faith was rewarded in amazing ways. Another great example is David, who was anointed king as a young man, but had to wait many years before he actually took the throne. He faced so many challenges and obstacles along the way, but he never lost faith in God's promise. He wrote in Psalm 27, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." David knew that God's timing was perfect, and that he was worthy of trust. I remember a time in my own life when I was struggling to trust in God's timing. I had been praying for a breakthrough in a particular area, but it seemed like God was taking forever to answer. I was getting frustrated and feeling like He wasn't listening to me. But then I had a breakthrough moment. I realized that I was trying to control the situation, and that I needed to surrender my will to God's. I started to pray differently, asking God to help me trust in His timing and to give me patience. And you know what? He did. Looking back, I can see that God was working everything out for my good, even when it didn't feel like it at the time. He was teaching me to trust in His goodness and to surrender my fears and worries to Him. And when I finally did, I experienced a sense of peace and freedom that I had never known before. Trusting in God's timing is a choice that we have to make every day. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. When we trust in God's plan, we open ourselves up to a life of purpose and fulfillment. We experience a deeper sense of peace and joy, and we're able to live a life that's marked by faith and trust. So I want to leave you with a challenge today. I want to encourage you to trust in God's timing, even when it's hard. Take a step back, surrender your fears and worries to Him, and trust that He's got everything under control. I promise you, it will be worth it. If you've had an experience where trusting in God's timing has made a difference in your life, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to my channel for more videos on faith and patience. Thanks for watching.